Oren, that's a plastic bag. Oren is telling that empty hay bag to go do one. Oren, it's okay. Oren, it's just a bag. Oren, it's a bag. It's just a bag. It's just a bag. Look, 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 look. Come, look. It's a bag. It's a bag. Come and see. Come and see it. Huh? It's a bag. Look. It's just a bag. It's just a bag. Look. Hey, see? It's all right, silly dog. You silly boy. Oh, big tough dog. You're a big tough dog now. Go on then, get the bag. Anyway, good morning folks. Hope you're all doing well out there. So we've got a beautiful day here in Aberdeenshire in northeast Scotland. The snow has finally gone. The birds are singing, the sun is out. The grass is looking a little bit greener. So great to see the snow gone. Because we're starting to get a bit behind with things, although we have been warned that snow is forecast again sometime during the month. We've got a lot of water on the farm. Pond is almost overflowing. All our ditches are running very full. Oren has discovered the joy of water after months of enjoying the snow. He's now addicted to chasing water as it runs down the ditches. Yeah, he's mad for the water right now. We've got a lot of water here on the farm and we're already using it as best we can. The pond being at the highest point of the property, so we're using gravity to channel that water down to all the places we need irrigation or animal water. So we're not doing too bad, but we could do better. And we've just got such an abundance of water on the farm, and after snow like that, it really shows you just by looking at all the ditches that we've got coming off the main pond, etc., that we could be utilising the water a lot more. So hopefully this weekend we're going to be having a guy come in with an excavator and create a couple more ponds for us. So I'm just coming to the top of Goose Wood here. This is where we're preparing a new area of forest garden. Over the last couple of months when I've been able to get out when there's no snow, I've been working on removing a lot of trees that we don't really want to keep anymore in this area in readiness for planting with more productive trees, so fruit trees and maybe some nut trees. So you can catch up with a bit of the progress on this forest garden design on our Patreon, where I've been uploading some postcards just to keep our Patreons up to date with what we're working on. But this is an area of woodland that the previous owners planted, and a bit like the work we did in Goose Wood a few years ago, we've been selectively felling and pruning a lot of the trees that are here to make way for planting our mixed fruit trees. As we've been felling the trees, we've been chipping them, so we've got lots of lovely mulch to be able to spread around the young fruit trees. We've been getting a lot of great firewood as a result of cutting down these willows and alders. And then of course we're leaving quite a few alders as well. You can see these alders here. We're going to be high pruning those and leaving them as a sort of nurse species, nitrogen fixing alder that will help the fertility requirements of the fruit trees. So really excited. There's a lot of work going into this area. We've ordered the fruit trees, they should be coming soon. We've got about 18 to 20 trees planned for this area. I've just started pruning this large beech hedge which is behind me here. This hasn't been pruned in a long time, so that's going to be a lot of work, but we want more sunlight coming in. So behind the hedge is east. But yeah, ponds. So this weekend we're hoping to get a small pond made here in this future forest garden. This is going to be a small pond so that we can have the geese or future ducks in this orchard and give them a place to splash around. And then another idea that we're going to hopefully implement, if the excavator driver has time, is turning this ditch, which is the overflow ditch from our large pond. We're going to be widening and deepening this. And then really we're going to be making a canal, and it's something I've always been interested in, canals and chinampas. So just another pond to capture all the runoff, all the water that comes off of this hill, and keep it here on the farm before it then overflows and out as it's currently doing. So lots of plans for pond digging and fruit tree planting. What else has been going on? What else? The poultry are still in lockdown. Here in the UK, poultry are still required to be kept under cover due to an outbreak of avian flu. So the chickens are still in the polytunnel. The geese, which you can probably hear behind me, are still in the old duck run. We're starting to think about seeding in our market garden so that we can carry on with our veg box business this year. Rosa has already sown the tomatoes and aubergines, which we've got inside in the warmth of our house. I know she's going to be in the polytunnel today doing a bit of sowing, so we can go catch up on all of that in a wee while. But I think the first job that we're going to get on with today is to seed an area of our Westfield silvopasture grazing system. If you remember from watching a few of our vlogs towards the end of last year, we were purposely letting the chickens graze down some of our pasture so that we can then seed it, because we'd love a bit more of a diverse range of grasses and herbs in the grazing system. So today I think is a perfect day to go out and start thinking about seeding some areas, certainly in case we get some more snow and then we're not unable to do that until it's into April, and then we'll be too busy. We're up here in the Westfield silvopasture, which is where we've got an area of productive timber trees grown in strips in areas of grazing for the geese and the goats and the sheep. We've often looked at the grass that we've got in this area and thought that we want a little bit more diversity of grasses and herbs. So today we're going to do a bit of seeding. We're going to experiment with this concept of frost seeding, where you scatter your seeds onto the ground during a time of heavy frosts. The freezing and the thawing of the ground helps to pull that seed into the ground for you without having to plough a field and sow that way. This area that we're going to be sowing today is an area that we kept the chickens on for an extended period. We left the chickens on here almost to an extent where they started to degrade the ground that they're on, because we wanted them to prepare the ground for us, scratching back the grass and any thatch and exposing the soil for us so that there's more soil to seed contact. So because of the chickens being here and the amount of manure that we had, we think this has obviously been encouraging the earthworms, which has been encouraging the moles. So you can see all these molehills behind me. Rosa's raking those flat. We're taking advantage of that soil so that we can seed into that. We've got our grass roller, so we're just going to roll the seed in. A lot of the species of grasses and herbs that are in this seeding mix that we're about to apply are light germinators, so you don't actually want to bury them too deep. We want to just scatter them on the soil surface, and then just pressing them in with the roller will kind of help them get that contact with the soil that they need for germination, and also maybe make it a little harder for the wild birds to find the seed. So yeah, excited to see if we can get a little bit more diversity into our grazing area here in the Westfield. Alright, better go and help Rosa.
So I'm just doing some seeding here, other than the tomatoes and some aubergine, which we're trying this year, which are in the house on some heat mats. This is the first of all of the rounds of crops that I'll be sowing for this year. These are actually going to be our early crops. They're going to be ones that we're going to have in our polytunnel beds that are going to get removed then for the main season crops to go in later on. I've sown some kohlrabi. I've got some mange too we're going to try for the first time in the polytunnel, see if we can bring them on early and just have some nice green peas in the first box. The first boxes are actually yeah, some of the hardest obviously to keep kind of have a good variety in. There's a few staple things you can, like salad, that you can have in that first box, but we really want to try and see what we can add to that. So mange two is going to be a bit of a trial this year, but we've got that. Just sowing some beets. We've done that every year for our early box, a bed in the polytunnel that then gets pulled out. The beauty of the beetroot for that is that if we get our timings a bit, well, if the weather, you know, obviously it varies every year, so if the beets come on quite quickly and we think that we need to pull them out before the first box, it's not like a salad, they're not going to go bad, so we can pull them out and store them until our first box and really get the next crop in. So beets or anything like that can kind of store are quite good to sow for early crops as well. And then the other thing I'm going to sow is some lettuce. That again, last year we did cut and come again in the polytunnel, mostly interplanted amongst our other crops, and they did really, really well. Obviously it's a pretty standard crop, but we've often done them outside, and they're great as head lettuce, but we really just enjoyed having these for these nice fresh salads for the start of the season. So yeah, that's the main things that I'm sowing in modules for our first boxes. The main lot of sowing will start in a few days' time. I still need to completely finish the plan for that. And then the other things for the first boxes are going to be direct seeded. I think we might try and have some spinach because we're going to start the box a bit earlier this year. But we'll also be direct seeding some radish. We're going to try and have some turnips ready for the first box. And then we'll be direct seeding a salad outside as well. Because actually by the time it comes around to June, which is when we start our kind of harvest for our CSA members, it's actually hot by then in the polytunnel. So although we have early crops in here, if we put a kind of mustard salad in here or spinach or anything that right now we could sow in here, it's just going to go to seed by the time it comes around to our actual first box. So some things we just wait, we sow them a bit later on outside, and then we just hope that we get the timing right and that they're just at the right time when it comes to our first harvest.
And what do you think the biggest problem could be in getting our crops into the polytunnel on time?
Yeah, the chickens. Yeah.
These guys.
Yeah, I mean this is why we have this now. We've actually not been able to start sowing in this polytunnel. We actually could have had the tomatoes in here on our heat mats with an extension lead, which we did last year. But we've got these guys in here, and well, there's none up on the crop bars right now, but that white hen is incredibly acrobatic and is often up on the crop bars. A lot of them escape. So we were really worried to even have anything in here how it was, just in case the chickens got to it, and that just undoes all our work, obviously. This kind of cold frame that we've got within the polytunnel to really protect the seeds from any frost that might happen at this time of year. We've now got a Shirley Reed tailor-made door, which locks, which is going to keep the hens out. So
you can put the polythene down.
Yeah, the polythene will come down here.
Well, well, it's attached.
So I don't know what we'll do with that. But anyway, polythene will come down over the front, and then hopefully these early crops will get off to a good start.
So hopefully within the next month we're going to be planting our young fruit trees in this new area of forest garden. Before we plant those fruit trees, I've got to come in and finish cutting this large beech hedge, and I want to do that now before we plant the fruit trees because I need to be able to have an area to put all the brash. And as you can see, just from cutting this sort of 10 meters or whatever already, we've already got a huge amount of material. So we're going to need this place to store and process all that material, and if we'd planted the fruit trees then they'd all be in the way. So we're going to do this first. We're also hopefully getting this small pond dug here in a few days' time. This is all the material that's come down from cutting this hedge. This hedge hasn't been cut in about 10 years. Some of this Rosa will be able to feed to the goats with the dry leaves. The goats will eat this. Some of it is great firewood. This is beech, so that's lovely, lovely firewood. Because we're getting sizes like this. That's going to be great for cutting up as fuel. But the rest of it we can either chip, but we're going to actually use a lot of it for making a dead hedge. So we haven't made any vlogs on dead hedges yet, but these are basically hedges made of brash, so another name for them is brash hedges. And we love them. We think they look great, they're very easy and quick to make, and they do a really good job at keeping animals in. We've made dead hedges that keep goats in. So we're going to be making another one parallel to the last one that we made, which is at the bottom of Goose Wood here. So I've got to go and find some uprights, because the way that you make them is by putting in uprights every couple of meters parallel to each other. So 2 uprights about a half a meter apart, and filling in between those 2 uprights with your brash material. So it's important that you get some really strong uprights. So I'm going to go and try and find some of those, and then eventually we'll start dragging all this material down to where we want to make said dead hedge. Alright, that is a good collection of uprights for the dead hedge. A bit of a mixture of sycamore and ash. Just had these growing around the backs of buildings that we need to keep clear, so it's quite good to remove them. I've got a wee pile up against the current dead hedge here. It's a loud plane. And then I've got various different piles around me which still need their side branches taken off, which these ones have had already done to them. I think I need about 20 to 25 to do the length that we're wanting to do on the other side of this dead hedge. There's going to be a gate in the new dead hedge, which is going to be interesting to try and build. So we're going to need a gate post. But yeah, so anyway, I've got a bit of, like I say, I've got to take the side branches off of all these poles, measure them up to size. We're looking for about 5 to 6 feet long poles. Getting them up, as you can see, the height of this dead hedge. That stops goats being able to jump that. Well, our goats anyway. You might have more tenacious goats than us. Yeah, so a bit of work to do. Obviously the sun is setting, so we're not going to get this done anywhere near done today, but it's a start. So over the next few days we'll be getting ready to build this dead hedge, which means I can carry on felling the overgrown beech hedge, which is a living hedge. All these hedges. And drag all that brash down to then create and fill this new dead hedge. So we'll make a dedicated dead hedge, brash hedge video for you guys out there, because a lot of you have been asking about our dead hedges and how we make them. So we'll try and do our best to make a dedicated, short and punchy dead hedge video. But until then, that's it for today. Me and Rosa are going to go and take the goats for a sunset beer walk and take it easy from then on. So I hope you guys are all taking it easy out there. Hope you're all well. Thanks for watching this vlog, and we'll catch you next time.